Greene's death is a heart-wrenching case. She was a little girl who was put back in her mom's home. The court records show she and her siblings were clearly in danger.
And that's what 7 Action News investigator Ross Jones has uncovered. And Ross, what exactly have you found out?
Well, Carolyn Stevens, some of the most recent court orders for this case raise more questions than they answer. They appear fraught with inconsistencies and contradictions and have at least one expert wondering if the people in charge of protecting the state's children were asleep at the switch.
It's unusual because the court doesn't release children to their parents if they've made findings that the parents are too dangerous to take care of them.
But according to these court documents, that's exactly what happened. In court orders obtained by 7 Action News from just weeks ago, officials seem to contradict their own findings. A November 23rd court order reads, one of the children was assaulted by the mother and received injuries about her face and body. All the children are at risk of physical assault. But in the same order, the children are then released back into their mother's custody.
It's pretty chilling, actually, to think that they said that all the children were at risk of physical assault from the mother, and then they sent them home to the mother.
And then only 5 days later, in a November 28th court order, the home conditions were deemed adequate to safeguard the children. 7 Action News left messages with the judge presiding over the case, but he hasn't returned our calls. In addition to the seemingly contradictory court orders, it's also unclear if Detroit police were ever contacted by Child Protective Services once they received allegations that Tameria Greene had been assaulted. Warner says if they weren't, they should have been.
I don't know who fills these forms out, but they weren't filled out by anybody who was paying attention to what was going on.
Now, Detroit police just confirmed that no reports of violence were made to the department during the entire month of October. That's when Child Protective Services first received allegations of abuse. CPS officials have so far not responded to our questions.
So, Ross, we've also found out that the state has tried to take these children from this mom before.
Tried, Carolyn, and failed. Records show that in 2010, Child Protective Services moved to take Tameria Greene's children away from her. After reports surfaced, she neglected them. But after a court hearing, a judge decided that Greene's children should be returned to her.
Wow, tough to swallow.